On today's episode of the Snack Run, we taste test some Indian snacks, wait for Danny to show up, and finally speak with special guest Jared Stotsky.
So last week we taste tested some Canadian snacks that I brought back from up north. And we're going to continue our little tour around the world of snacks. But this week I'm going to need a little help. So I'm going to introduce our special guest for today's episode to help us with our Indian snack taste test, Chirag. Welcome to the show.
Oh, it's great seeing you guys again.
Great seeing
Always
you.
a pleasure.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. Let's get started then. First we have Kerala mixture, which is a Chanachur. It's a snack we usually have with tea, basically, at tea time.
Awesome. Let's dig in.
Yeah?
I'll go hand.
Oh, we decided to go hand.
Yeah.
If you can go spoon if you want.
Okay.
Good crunch.
I like it. A little bit of spice to it. It's not really spicy, but I'm getting a little zing from it.
Yeah.
These fried noodle things here you see are made from gram flour, which is chickpeas.
Oh,
I like it.
Yeah, chickpeas.
it's like that amount of spice where like you still get a little bit of something, but it's not enough where it's going to stop you from eating a large quantity of this. Like you
Yeah.
could snack on a lot of this without it like overwhelming you.
Yeah,
It's a pleasant spice. It's not.
it is.
It doesn't hurt. It's just like welcoming. It's a welcoming spice.
I would agree with that. And I think that's kind of the conception that I've had around Indian food is that the times I've had it in the past, I feel like the spice has been a component that is very important to the dishes that I've had. But sometimes I do find that the spice is not as welcoming. And I've definitely had some dishes that can be a little bit more overwhelming. And I feel like this is a really nice intro to the Indian snacks because, like Yank said, it's a very welcoming spice, and it's got me coming back for more.
I like the leaves.
Really?
Yeah.
That's an
I was
interesting.
That's a
surprised
hot
to see
take.
them here because it looks a little out of place compared to all the other stuff, but they're pleasant. I like them.
It adds good color to the mix, though,
It
honestly.
does.
Because, like,
It
if you
does.
take, like, Chex Mix or something like that,
It's all
it's
just
a bit
brown.
homogenous, yeah.
It's a bit brown.
I'd say this is very on par with Chex Mix.
Out
I
of
would
10,
agree.
I might give this an 8-8.
8.8. Wow,
I'm a big fan.
that's pretty high.
No?
Very respectable.
I'll probably give it a 7.5.
I would also say it's going to be around that for me. I think. I'd agree. It's definitely on par with Chex Mix, I think. Interested to see what the other flavors taste like. I'd probably give it like a 7.2, I think.
Should I rate it?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's see. What would I give this? I'm going 8-1 for this one.
Oh,
8.1.
Solid 8-1. Yeah.
All right.
that brings us to an average rating of.
So next we're going to do Mirch Masala's Kolkata Chanachur.
I think you mentioned this is like basically the same snack but a different flavor. Is
Yeah,
that
it's a
right?
different
Or a different variety.
different variety. There's different snacks and different. This has rice in it, chickpeas, lentils, peas, peanuts, potato flakes. India is a very vegetarian forward country,
Yeah.
so it's very vegetarian and even vegan friendly. So if you want some vegan food or get a little healthy, Indian food's a great option.
So it definitely does look different than the last mix, which again, not to just keep making the Chex Mix comparison, but I feel like they're similar.
It's a mixed snack. It's a
It's
mixed
both,
snack.
yeah, they're both mixed snacks. Chex Mix, it's like basically the same pieces no matter what flavor of the mix you have. I like how we're seeing some variety here, and there's definitely some overlap with these two mixes, but I love how there's different shapes here, some different color profiles.
And they're going to
as
be
well.
different spices as well. It's
Different
not going to be the
spices,
same
yeah.
spice.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh. Oh, that's pleasant. That's not what I
That's
expected.
very good.
This one's spicier, definitely. I like the spiciness of this one, actually.
It's a more satisfying spice.
Yeah.
If we're doing the gas station test, if I saw this at a gas station versus Chex Mix, or like any flavor of Chex Mix, I'd probably take this.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Great texture as well.
It doesn't
Very
have as
light.
much color though. It's a little bit more
True.
orangey
No,
brown.
no greens in this
No
one.
greens in this one.
I would honestly give this... I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10, I think. Very respectable. I love the spice. And the spice profile, not in terms of spiciness, but the actual spices used in this mix. I mean, across the board, getting a lot of different variety. I really like this mix.
I like this one a lot. I'm just not as good at handling spice as other people, so I'll probably give it an 8.3.
Yeah, this one's also very good. Personally, I don't like it quite as much as the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it's because I think you mentioned the other one had a more prominent peanut flavor, and I'm a big fan of that flavor, so that might be part of it. But I still really like it, so I'd probably give it an 8.1.
For me, this is a classic for me. I'm gonna give it 8.9, almost 9.
8.9.
8.9.
Wow.
Yeah,
And that brings
definitely.
us to an average rating of... So would you say that this is a snack that you've been enjoying for like years and years, or is it more of like a recent addition to your...
No, this is a generational thing. Everybody
okay.
everybody loves this. You'll find if you go to temples and outside of places of worship, there are people in carts, and then you can buy little, like a cone full
Oh,
of this,
really?
and
Cone full?
you can munch on it as you're walking by.
Cool.
But in India, it's a lot more spicier than here, but
Understandable.
it's a classic, man. You'll find it everywhere.
Yeah. My mouth is a little bit tingly from the spice. Is there anything we could use to like
Oh, yeah.
wash it down maybe?
Good thing I brought some of this.
Oh,
Some
nice.
mango lassi.
All right.
Another classic
Yes.
Indian drink. It's a yogurt drink that people
Yogurt
like. People like it as a coolant, as you could say, for the tongue.
This does look cool and refreshing right about now.
Oh yeah, especially in the
Cheers.
current heat wave that we
Oh,
have
yeah.
going on.
I believe the temperature's topped out at around 99 degrees Fahrenheit today.
Yeah.
Let's dig in. It
It's
is
a
good
very
coolant.
thick, very it coats your mouth. It immediately relieves the spice, and you can go for round 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah.
Spice is gone.
Spice is
Yeah,
gone,
spice.
and it cools you off, too. Wow, that's crazy.
I mean, 3 for 3 so far, honestly. I don't think we've had a miss yet.
No.
I'll probably give it a 8.4. 8.4.
8.4.
Very respectable. I'll probably give it a... I like that, actually. Let's do an 8.4.
I'm a very big fan of this drink. Yogurt's one of my top foods, honestly, and I also love the taste of mango. So I will go 8.7.
Ooh, wow.
8.7. For me, this is like a basic thing, right? Like you go to Indian restaurant, mango lassi is always there, right? So for me, it's gonna be anything 7-8. A little low, but
That's
It's
fair.
still respectable.
I
Yeah.
think it's fair enough. That brings us to an average rating of...
next we're gonna go into something more basic. This is Britannia's Marigold, just regular tea biscuit. As you know, tea is very, very, very popular in India. So I wanted to bring you guys the very basic tea biscuit.
All right.
So normally this would be
Yeah,
dunked
this
in
would be
whatever tea you
dipped
were
in
drinking.
tea, and it's just your basic, tea snack.
Okay.
All right. Got a nice, pleasant, sweet aftertaste without it being like a sugar cookie or anything.
Pretty much just what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Like Andy said, just kind of solid at what it's meant for. Nice little subtle sweetness. Yeah, pretty good.
Give it a simple 6 out of 10. It got the job done.
Yep.
It's not something I would like. I'm not gonna binge like
No.
20 of these in a row or anything. But again, I don't think that's what they're intended for. I think that they get the job done. Respectable 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll probably go in the same range, slightly lower, probably 5.8.
I'd go slightly higher, 6.5. It's pretty good.
Without the tea, it's a 6. But with the tea, I'm gonna give it an 8 around.
Oh,
They're very,
Oh.
very, very good. With tea.
Okay.
all right. That brings us to an average rating of.
So next we have Nice Time, a coconut biscuit, which is also a tea biscuit, but I don't think this shouldn't be dipped. But
Okay.
it's sugar coated and it has coconut.
I feel like it's a thin enough cookie that it's light and flaky, while having a not too overpowering coconut taste, which I appreciate. Because I like the flavor of coconut, but some things that have like a coconut flavoring, it tends to overpower the snack. I like this a lot.
Honestly, I gave it a smell, and I was expecting a little bit more pronounced coconut flavor. So when I first took a bite, I was a bit underwhelmed, but then as I ate it, I kind of came to appreciate like the kind of subtleness of the coconut flavor. So I actually enjoyed it, and I would probably give it 6.9.
Thought it was a fine snack. I'm not a big fan of coconut, so that doesn't help. But it was very subtle coconut, and it was. I mean, like I said, not a big fan, but it was a pleasant coconut, and I was a big fan of the big chunks of sugar on top. I like that touch. I'll probably give it a slightly lower than the other one, 5.6.
It's fair enough. I would say for me it would be a little higher than the other one. I'll give it a 6.3, I think.
For me, this is the middle of the road for me. I'm gonna go just 5.0. 5.0.
Okay.
Fair enough. That brings us to an average rating for the coconut cookies of.
For drink number 2, we have Thums Up, which is India's interpretation of Coca-Cola.
All right.
Let's go for it.
Cheers.
Thumbs up, everybody.
Yeah. For some reason, it's reminding me of like Coke Zero. I think is what it's reminding me of. It doesn't have as much caramel taste as I remember
Yeah.
Coca-Cola having.
Yeah.
But very slight. It does taste very similar.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely the same like type of soft drink as Coke. I mean, I think the difference that I'm getting is it's almost like a slightly more natural flavor than the flavor of Coke, which tastes a little more processed.
It doesn't
And-
have that heavy sugar syrup.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
It goes down very light.
I was gonna say it's a
And-
bit lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The aftertaste is a little different too.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge soda drinker in general, so it's kind of hard for me to rate it, I guess, fairly. But I'd give it, I don't know, 7 flat.
Yeah, I think I might agree with that 7 flat.
7 flat.
I would say somewhere around that. I mean, it's effectively just Coke, but a slightly lighter version.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving it a 7.2, I think.
For me, Coke is like a basic flavor. You know, it's not out there. It's not something new. It's a very nostalgic flavor. So I'm gonna go a little less than you guys. I'm gonna go 6.8.
All right.
All right, that rounds it off to a average rating of.
Next, we got the classic Bourbon cream. I know a lot of people have these who aren't Indian. They come in, but it's a classic chocolate filled cookie.
Oh, it's a cookie.
Yeah, it's like a cookie.
Oh, okay.
It's a different chocolate flavor to the chocolate in America.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's
Better.
different than your Hershey chocolate.
Better, I'd say.
I would even say the chocolate biscuit on the outside and the cream have a different chocolate flavor from each other.
For some reason, I have a distinct memory of eating a lot of the Oreos that have chocolate on, like the double chocolate Oreos.
Oh, yeah.
And this is like, I'll say, I think it's a better version of that concept.
From the cream on the inside, there's almost like a fudginess to the chocolate that makes it a more rich chocolate flavor than like a chocolate frosting or a chocolate cream from like those Oreos or something.
It's not sugar forward, it's chocolate forward.
I would say it's a great sandwich cookie overall. I'm not the hugest Oreo fan ever, I think I might prefer these over a normal Oreo.
I'll agree with that.
If I had to choose between this and an Oreo, I think I'd probably go with this, and I'll give it a. Honestly, I'll probably give it a solid 8.1 out of 10.
I like this cookie a lot. Again, with the sugar crusted outside, I like that crunch a lot. And
textures.
the chocolate is just very good. I like the chocolate a lot, so I think I'll give it an 8.6.
Wow. Yeah.
High scores.
Really solid cookie. I'll like split the difference between Andy and Matt. I'll go like 8.4. I was also a big fan.
I'm gonna go right there, 8.5 for me. This is a very
Wow.
very good snack. I like these on the occasion, with a glass of milk. Very solid.
Oh.
So I believe that brings us to an average rating of.
We're gonna move on to desserts now.
Ooh.
The first
Right.
dessert is called Jalebi or Jalebi. This is a fry dessert. So they fry it. They fry the batter in these spiral shapes, and then they soak them in sugar syrup.
Ooh.
And this one is good sugar syrup. So that's cane sugar condensed. India is very very well known for its sweets, and it's very very proud of their sweets. It's not like any of the sweets you'll find in like Italian cuisine or European cuisine. It's a lot of milk based stuff, and this is a batter based thing, but they're very very famous for their sweets.
It has a very unique flavor. I don't mind eating it. It would probably be the lowest rated item I have out of the ones we've tried so far. Sort of because of a combination of two things, one of which is the kind of cold texture to it that it has.
You can warm them up if you want.
Really?
Yeah,
you
same
had
thing.
these
Same,
warm
same thing
before?
with the other ones. Yeah, they're good warm. They come out warm. They're fried foods. They're stored in cold to keep them fresh. But when you get them fresh, they're nice and warm. The sugar is nice and runny.
I think that's probably the way I would prefer to have these if I was going to go buy these. I would get them straight out of the fryer and nice and warm. Yeah, I actually like the crispiness. So one thing I did like about it, it's got a nice crispiness when you bite into it, and it's got almost like a soft, milky texture in the middle of it.
Yes.
It's mostly just the flavor is not my 100% favorite, but credit where credit is due. It's a solid snack. I'm not going to give it a terrible rating or anything. I would probably give this a 4.9, I think.
Funny you say that. I think I was gonna do the same rating, 4.9. I'm not a huge fan of like candy and things that are just purely sweet, which is kind of what this is. It's very
it's very, very
sugary,
sweet
and you
sugar.
can taste like it's like cane sugar. It's definitely unique though.
I think that I think the flavor it's all right. But the problem I have with it is the texture. I feel like taking a bite into it is, I don't know, something about it is
It's
a
very
little
different.
off-putting
Very
to
different.
me.
I
Yeah,
know what you
very
mean.
different.
I know what you mean.
But I thought it was solid overall. I'd probably give it around the same. Maybe a bit lower, 4.7.
4.7. For me, if you get these fresh and nice, it might raise the overall scores. But when we get it like imported in a box and cold, it probably lowers it down a bit. So I'm gonna be around 5.5.
That brings us to an average rating of.
Next, we have Gulab Jamun, which is a very well-known Indian dessert. It's fried dough dipped in the same sugar syrup that we had as the one before. And we've warmed it up. Michael has warmed it up to try and get it as most as authentic as possible. Let's go for it.
Definitely, when it comes to texture, this one might be taking a little bit of a W here.
I will
Ooh, nice.
precurse that I might have overdone it in the microwave a bit. So
It's fine. Warm is warm.
Oh, I
It's
like
a very.
I like this a lot.
If it wasn't as mushy, it would have been more textured, but it still tastes very nice.
that. Oh yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
It's light, fluffy. I think the sugary syrup around it has got a very light, like, almost herbally,
Yeah.
almost
Nutty.
minty, like underlying taste. I
Mhm.
think overall, I mean, I cannot complain much about this. I think it would be another thing that like you got these fresh out of the fryer in
Oh yeah,
India.
definitely.
Oh my god! I mean,
Yeah, if the texture was, I can kind of see where this is supposed to be texture wise, and like I agree with what you said about the flavor. I'd actually tried this once before. When I had it, I think I did have it cold,
Mm.
and when I first tried it, it was like just pure sugar.
Mm.
Whereas this actually had like a little bit of a depth of flavor. It was still very sweet, but it tasted very good.
It's that bitterness of the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was really good, but I feel like if it was cold, like if Mike said it, it would definitely throw me off, and it would definitely affect its rating.
Yeah.
But I like this a lot.
What
Yeah.
would you rate it?
I would probably give it a 8.2.
8.2.
Two?
Very nice.
respectable. I would give it probably around the same range. I might give it I think I'll give it an 8 flat, just because once you've had a few bites of it, I think the syrupy flavor starts to become a little more dominant once it's like been really soaked in the syrup.
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I'm not a big like fan of the overly sweet stuff, but I like the flavor. I'll give it 7.7.
For me, this is like one of my favorite dishes. I might be a little controversial here, but I'm gonna give it a 9.
Oh,
Another 9.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely see my rating going up if I had a fresher version,
Mhm.
but tastes pretty fresh for a box version. I can't
Yeah.
lie, and that brings us to an average rating of. Can you help me get that?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. So that brings to a close our Indian snacks taste test. Honestly, I had a great experience with these snacks, and I think that we got a really good variety. Chirag, do you want to maybe give us kind of just like 30 seconds, like what do you need to know about Indian food, and do you want to give us your favorite Indian dish?
For me, Indian food is more of like a home cooking for me, because it's very reminiscent of what my parents cooked for me, and it always reminds me of them. So it's gonna be always a nostalgic food for me, eating those foods, and especially dishes that my parents make that are specifically from where they came from. One of my favorite dishes is a shrimp dish that my dad makes. It's made with a mustard sauce, or grainy mustard sauce. It's a shorshe bata, which is blended or beaten up mustard in a sauce with shrimp, and he's been cooking it for me for my whole life, so I really enjoyed that. But if you want to go out and try some Indian snacks, it'll open a new world of snacks for you, as I've tried to open a new world for these guys here.
Yeah, and I can say, speaking for me, you certainly have opened a window for us, and it was great to taste all of these snacks. So we'd like to thank you for joining us on the show and
Glad to
opening
be on. Glad to be
opening
on.
our taste buds to these new snacks. And I guess with that, we can bid Chirag farewell for the episode. Thank you again, Chirag. It was great to have you.
Thank you, Chirag. Thanks for joining us on today's episode of the Snack Run, and again, thanks to Chirag, our special guest, for bringing us just a great variety of Indian snacks to taste test today. Stay tuned for potentially another taste test of snacks from a different country next episode, or maybe we'll switch it up a little, do some more challenges. We'll see. I mean, Snack Run Season 2 has been throwing a lot of new styles of content at you, so let us know in the comments what you'd like to see for the next episode.
Jared Stotsky, sorry
Apologies.
once again.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just inevitable, but next time for sure.
It really is unfortunate, too, because we keep trying to get him on, but it just didn't work out for today. And also, we did mention we'd be trying to find Danny. Unfortunately, he just let us know that he had to attend a very, very important PowerPoint presentation on the dangers of Valentine's Day in South American countries. So he was not able to join us today, and hopefully you'll see him next episode. But other than that, give a shout out to Jalen Brown, and we will see you guys on the next episode.